Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to go with game number 2 today with Northern Territory taking on Tasmania. After a very dominant performance by the South Australian Black Falcons. We'll see whether Northern Territory can answer, because as things stand, Northern Territory and South Australia are the two teams to look at in this tournament. Tasmania will be first to have a go. Northern Territory wearing the orange and black. Tasmania in the green and yellow. And they will get a penalty early doors.
Clear release. Thank you.
They will have the first line out of the day. Five-bar lineup. Stolen by the Northern Territory. See what they can do with ball in hand first off. First chance to see the Northern Territory with ball in hand, and they will just knock it over the back towards the 22. Chase is good. Slight miss kick. The Northern Territory now looking to counter attack. They will get away, but a little bit of a forward pass. Sivo Seni Carver, probably Tau Carver, wearing the number 13, but a ballet is starting today in the number 11 shirt. Showed how dangerous he was on Friday night. But it will be a Tasmania scrum. We'll see where the scrums sit. The Northern Territory will put a shove on, but we'll just reset the scrum. At Northern Territory pack, Ericsson, Snowden and Gillum in the front row. Parks and Fakalofa in the second row, with Tuitaru, Nikora and Paseka in the back row. Tasmania get the ball away quickly. We'll look into midfield. Tasmania have certainly started today better than they did on Friday night. Just inside the 22. Oh, very nearly intercepted, but knocked on.
Knock on.
So it will be another Tasmania scrum, and that Tasmanian pack. Sam Loper, Taulava and Terry in the front row. Holman and Atman in the second row. Weber, Lean and Daniel will be the back row of the Tasmania pack. Anthony Lean, the captain. A little bit messy in midfield, and Northern Territory will get the first points of the game early on. It's got a little bit messy, and Seni Kaukava will pick up the crumbs and go under the post and put the first points on the board for the Northern Territory. Less than 5 minutes gone. think that the conversion by Zach Phillips should go over. Which it does, so 7-0 early on for the Northern Territory.
Hey? Yeah,
Tasmania throwing a little bit of a curveball and going the opposite direction to nearly every kickoff ever. Driven long. What can the Northern Territory do? Big hit from Lean. Little bit upright, but gets his hands free and manages to roll around the corner. Find a little bit of extra space. Pick and go from Toyotaru, but didn't quite get anywhere. Phillips will send it into midfield, and then they will look out to that far side. Shakes the first tackle. Now we'll look for space. Gives it on the outside. Then we'll get it back. Gets it inside. Has runners with him. Two hands on the ball and having a look. Will give it off to the fullback. And Reece Mulholland will go over. So two very, very quick scores from the Northern Territory. Just have a look at the replay, and found himself in acres of space, and then just good support running, and I think it was Snowden, the number 2, ended up with options and inside ball to Mulholland, and 2 tries, 2 conversions, 6 minutes gone. This could be big long day at the office for Tasmania. He talked about it in the first game about how difficult it's going to be for the Northern Territory to try and keep control of this and play structured rugby, which is as important.
Play advantage.
And here they go again from outside, just outside their 22.
Advantage over.
Into midfield, there's Abele wants it out on this near side. Again, another little pick and go from Paseka. Manages to step out, then it will go to Abele. He'll take on the first one. And they will be bundled into touch on this near side. So Tasmania will have a line out in a fairly decent position. Just outside the 22.
Open up. Thank you.
Too many numbers there. Not done in the lineup, but
Scum calls.
as we approach the 10-minute mark. The Northern Territory will have a scrum just outside the 22. Messy one. First knock on by Tasmania. Seen how strong the Northern Territory scrum is over Friday night.
Just step up, guys. To the marks here. Just want to put it back. You guys. Thank you. Yep. Crouch. Bind.
Turning into a lovely, well, afternoon now. In Clarence Gardens, Tasmania holding their own. Just given absolutely no time on the back, and again it's a little bit messy.
Hold.
Into midfield. Mosquito line really did shoot out. And they've got the turnover. What will they do with the quick turnover ball? Tasmania have made it slow enough. A little bit isolated as a runner, but it worked okay. And to halfway, but lost. And Tasmania are just spoiling the party somewhat.
Turnover's fine. Play on.
Back into midfield and over halfway they go again. They do build good rugby. Inside ball. A little bit of a lazy arm, but we're playing on. Again, it will bobble around at the back, but they'll sort it out. Then out to her belly with a little bit of time and space. Dealt with eventually, and dealt with well.
Work. Play on. Changeover's fine.
Another turnover from Tasmania though.
Fine. Thank you.
And they will come out the back and just clear the lines. So Tasmania putting a fair amount of pressure on in that breakdown, not allowing Northern Territory to get the continuity that they want. Northern Territory walking into the line-out kind of gets rid of their numbers advantage if they wanted one. Didn't look straight, isn't straight.
You want, mate? Scrum. Yep. Scrum calls. Oh, sorry.
And the back line for the Northern Territory, 9 McMurray, 10 Phillips, centres are Main and Sunny Kaukava. On the wings, Athanasia and Abele, and McManus and Reese Holland will be at fullback. Number 8 will go blind, met by Tuitaru, and then Paseka will take over. Another strong run from Tasmania. A little bit of a shaky start, but they've managed to get away with it. And then just as I say that, Phillips will turn it over. And they will go into midfield. There are numbers there if he can find them.
Work, guys. Hold there.
Phillips will show and straighten, managed to get through and got his hands free, but the ballet couldn't bring it in. And Tasmania will have another scrum, and skill errors a little bit creeping in for Northern Territory in the opening 15 minutes. Call to settle it down. Obviously, South Australia putting a marker down this morning and putting 90 odd points on Victorian country, and Northern Territory will be aware of that and will want to answer back with a big score of their own. Pass didn't quite go to hand. Giving themselves a lot of work to do to try and get out of there, and that one is allowed to go, and Chris Paseka will go over. He will score under the posts. Just got to put themselves under a little bit of pressure when that pass from the back of the scrum didn't go to hand. And as he tried to burrow his way through, good clean out, and then right through the middle of the ruck, Chris Paseka. Who, if it isn't the Chris Paseka who played in South Australia, he is the namesake of, as Phillips will knock another one over, 21-0 early on in the game. Easy as it gets. So Tassie will have to kick off again. Deep kickoff, he got man and ball. Thinking he's going to come back the Territory's way. Nice counter ruck from Tasmania. Out to a belly. He will step back inside, find a gap, then find another gap, then go through the third. He's got two in front of him. Good step. Now he will put the foot down. Has he got the pace to get there? He is running wide. He's desperately looking for support. Support comes. Now there are numbers if they can get it out. They don't need to get it out, and they will go over again. You might need to rethink which direction you're going with your kickoff with the very, very dangerous Abele out on this near side, and 2 tries in quick succession again. It's something that the Northern Territory did to score their first 2 tries, and then they've done it again. Simple just ran out of numbers. Nakora going over with one of the easiest tries he will have scored in his career. And Phillips with the conversion to take it to 28 points to 0 before the 20-minute mark. And over that one goes. Just have another look at Belly. Nearly got there. And the support was there, and then it's just, there aren't the numbers there, and Northern Territory managed to get it away quick enough. And still people coming back for Tasmania. Again, they will go deep. Does well to shed the tackler and make his way back in field. It'll show inside. Looks like Northern Territory have made changes already. Oh, and the intercept. Tasmania are going to get points on the board if he can get there. He does. Oh, there's a question. Tries given.
Let's try.
That's the question. I thought better of it. Rickard Daniel with the intercept, and then he had the toe to get there. Very, very telegraphed inside ball, and Daniel was there. Off to the races. Good finish.
Hey, Jen, do you reckon you could just put that Velcro stuff across the side for me? Yeah, easy.
Running repairs by the players on the referee's audio equipment. Josh May will take the points, attempt the conversion. Oh, pushed it just to the right, hit the upright. So it'll say 28 points to 5. The Northern Territory have made some changes. I'll try and get you them as soon as I can. Driven deep. And Ballet will hit hard. He's going to come back Tasmania's way though. Another missed target, but he did enough. Happy to still go flat.
Advantage offside.
Now they have a little bit of time and space outside, but he'll just go through the middle and get the offload away. One-on-one, and then they will loop it out to that far side. Just didn't quite go to hand. He had to stop and go and get it, but go and get it he did. Penalty.
Clear release.
Not releasing. So Tasmania will have a line up. In a good position. He will just rumble into the 5-metre line. Very close, and they have numbers out on this near side. Decide to go inside and lost. Turned over. Well, he's managed to shake away. And then lost it. And Tasmania have come to play.
No advantage, guys.
Lost forward, so Tasmania will have a scrum.
Knock on, no advantage, guys. Just here.
Managed to shake his way out of a tackle, but then just ran out of support.
Yeah. Real flat. Hey, mate. Crouch.
Tassie with a fairly big blind side.
Bind. Set.
They'll go open, showed the outside, then came back inside. Good continuity again. Numbers left. Shift to the right, they still got numbers both ways. They go the Gregan ball. Met strongly though. Loper had a look. Then they will go to Lean. He is met massively. Does well to send it back on the right side though. Then they will go near side to Holman. Oh, there's lots of space out to the left if they can get there. Daniel had a look. They are close to the line and it's held up. So they'll get a scrum, but it'll be 5 metres out. Starting to use Laufey. Big number 12 and short angles.
collapse them all, guys.
Saving grace for Northern Territory at the moment is they are making those one-on-one tackles.
Boys, come on.
Another Tasmania scrum.
8, please. Bind. Set.
Sorry, Northern Territory scrum. Oh, they've close to losing it. They were probably going to
Come out the same channel end.
reset it. Tasmania, Northern Territory have got away with one.
Yeah, same channel. Yep.
Do it again, boys. Do it again, huh? Go again, huh? We go again.
This way, guys.
It's a slight pause while we wait for
Come back on.
Blair Webber to fix his headgear.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Tasmania with another big scrum, and then the clearance was rushed by Lean, causing a slight miss kick. So give Tasmania line out in a very, very good position. Stolen by the Territory though, and then they will be able to get it over the back. Takes a Northern Territory bounce down towards the 22. Forces another kick, and that will bounce. And now the Northern Territory can attack. Fired all the way into midfield. Into the Tasmanian half. Big, fast offensive move by Holman. And again, they will just poke it behind and let the chasers chase. Will probably have to just run into touch to prevent himself getting eaten by a belly. Which will give the Northern Territory a line out in a very, very good position. So again, they're going to walk into the lineup. Not straight. Tasmania are asking for the scrum very, very quickly, which isn't a bad option. They've certainly shown a little bit of dominance in the scrum.
Crouch. Bind. 8. Yeah. Set.
Oh, close to being charged down. There will be a line out for Northern Territory just inside the Tasmania 22. See whether they can do a better job of this one. So they decide to go quick. Ball off the back isn't great, it has to be tidied up. Again, elusive running. And then we'll go to the big boys just to try and settle it down. Seiko is a little bit isolated, but support got there in quick enough. Oh, they have got numbers left and right. go to the right. I can get the penalty. Finney Mann, wearing the number 12 shirt for the Northern Territory, has shown that it's going to be very, very difficult to get down and bring down.
Scrum, guys. Nice, you guys. Beauty.
Northern Territory taking the scrum from a penalty, which we don't see very often. Absolutely confident in their ability.
What's that fucking blind? What's that? Set. What's that coming blind?
Wait, 9. Hold your line, mate.
Paseka will go to the right hand side, gets it out eventually. Not knocked on, then they will come out to this near side. Man was met strongly. Oh, very nearly. Penalty for the deliberate knock on. Nearly made his way through, but there is, I think it's Man who's down.
Yeah. Yeah, scrum called.
He was hit very hard.
Mate, just about scrums. I'm not going to keep calling you to bind up, okay?
And it's Alea Laufi, the number 12 for
Yeah, time's off.
Tasmania, certainly didn't miss him. Looked like he was holding his back a little bit. Hasn't done much moving. That would suggest that he's a little bit sore, which is not unsurprising considering how hard he was hit. The physio's struggling to stand him up. It doesn't look like he wants to. So he's in the hands of the trainers. Likely to make that change, which would be a little bit of a big out for them. So there is a change on the Tasmanian side, and Finney Mann will be replaced by number 20, Nathan Satala. Brighton stalwart. Has spent some time in the Northern Territory, so I'm sure has earned his cap. Easy, we'll go from one dangerous player to another dangerous player. It'll be interesting to see whether Satala sits in that 12 job or whether he'll move out to 13. And it looks like he's going to line up at 12.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Yeah, no winger. Abele has come all the way across to the far side. Satala will be missed. The winger does come in. Just another pod set up for the Northern Territory, and then they will come out the back. Short ball, big gap. Mulholland will go over for his second of the day. 33-0 with 35 minutes gone. Tasmania wouldn't be unhappy with how this first half has gone. They've certainly shown in parts that they can compete, but just ran out of numbers. Mulholland will go over. Robbie Butcher will take over the kicking duties. Flirts with the right hand post, but it will go over. 35 points to 5. 35 minutes gone. It's never bad when you average a point a minute. Just see the replay and just ran out of numbers and ran out of legs. Another deep kick taken by Paseka, will give it to Abele. He will find a little bit of room and give it to Satala. Satala will send it out one more. Good hands, just went to ground. The referee wanted to play an advantage, but none was coming.
Scrum for days, boys. Here, get here, get here. We're going to do this. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Out 40.
So Tasmania will have a scrum inside the Northern Territory half.
Bind. Set.
That just left the ball behind a little bit, and it's going to be a Northern Territory scrum in midfield.
Scrum battle, boys. I like it.
They are going to stack, and I think they've brought everyone across. There's no danger of an 8-9-15 over on that far side, because everybody is over on this near side. Which is confident, considering Tasmania have made a mess of their scrum a couple of times. The time they have managed to be solid. Satala showed it inside, then shook a tackle. Out the back and across halfway again, and Northern Territory will go marauding towards that 22. And into the 22. Wanted quick ball. There was a fairly offside Tasmanian there. They are playing on, and the numbers are out there, and now over they will go, over in that far corner, and they will run around to make the kick a little bit easier. They will continue their dominance of this game. $40 points to 5 with the kick to come. Again, just ran out of numbers. Todd McManus going over on the far side. So Robbie Butcher will look to knock over another one. I think a decision will probably be made to play a running clock at least again in the second half. So flags go up again, and 42 points to 5. As we get close to half time. So whatever happens, they will average a point a minute in this first half, which you can't complain about, really. Deep ball again. Paseka underneath it. We'll give it to Abele. Bellet will look to run through the gap and does run through the gap. Then he will step the 9. Then he will step another one. Then he will shake out of a 3rd tackle and run through a 4th tackle. 5th one comes across, but they're not going to get there, and a Bellet will go over. We'll take it to 47 points. That is devastating rugby for the Tasmanians.
Half time.
And it will be half time, but he makes it look so easy. Runs through the gap for the first one, and steps the half back, steps another one, spins out of a 3rd, and then once he gets Hakers in front of him, he will go. So Bobby Butcher will look to kick over, and it will take us to half time. That one flared to the left-hand post, but the flags go up, so he's had a go at both of them. So we will go into half-time 49 points to 0. Sorry, 49 points to 5. Northern Territory leading Tasmania. We'll be back for the second half very shortly.
The car's not playing, we're going to raffle it off.
So welcome back. We are at Clarence Gardens again, and it's turned into a lovely little day. Northern Territory leading this one 49 points to 5. They have shown dominance. Part of the problem that Tasmania have had is the kickoffs. They've been able to run it back with abandon at the moment as Tasmania start to get tired. Tasmanians ready to go. The Northern Territory waiting for the whistle. I think that the backs for the Northern Territory, I think there might be some changes again at half time for them.
You stand on the other side.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, before the second half starts, we have found a car team inside the change room. Looks like the rego is 225ATR, it's a blue BMW. You've lost your car keys. Come over here and...
So the Northern Territory look like they're getting to go. We are trying to get, I think, the Northern Territory manager, we're going to try and get him sat down and have a chat with him. He'll give us some insight into how they're going. Give me someone to talk to as well throughout this second half.
Recovery.
As we are looking like we're about ready to go.
Come on.
Be nice to get some insight from the boys up north. And welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now I know I've got your name on an email somewhere, but
Yeah, so I'm Greg Tobin, manager for the NT Mosquitoes, former player, and commentator of the NTRU rugby stream.
well there you go. Oh, I might even get a little bit of time off from a play-by-play perspective.
No, I'm the tidbit information
There you go.
kind of guy.
So 49 points to 5 in the first half, and they're just going to turn Tasmania around again. Rugby ball did not bounce the way that anybody wanted it to do, and Satala will go. Satala will try and find some space in the corner, and he tried to make the kick a little bit easier. They're just going to ask the question as to whether there's anything here, and I think there was a little bit of a knock-on.
No try, guys.
There we go. Take it off. He doesn't deserve one anyway. He's a South Australian boy.
Yeah.
But he has spent some time up in Darwin. He has links in Darwin.
Yeah, multiple years he's played with the Casuarina Cougars up there, and he's played for the NT Mosquitoes as well before in the 7-a-side format, and travelled to Singapore. Yeah, he's coming to the squad this weekend.
No ball here.
Amid some controversy, I would say.
Not selected for the South Australian side?
I'm not sure. I think he had a bit of a change in personal circumstances or something along those lines. We're going to have a meeting after the match.
You might be able to clear up for me as well. Chris Paseka, the number 8, has he got a South Australian link?
Yeah.
I'm sure he played at Old Collegians.
He is down here. He's filled in for us to fill in for a couple of late pullouts as well for us. So that's really handy because he's also from the Casuarina Cougars up in Darwin, or previously. Yeah.
So there's a South Australian vein running through this Northern Territory side with a ballet who's won a premiership with Brighton this year as well.
Yeah, he came down after the end of the NT season, after a successful year at Souths up in the Territory.
Crouch.
So it'll be a scrum at Tasmania on their 22, and they've struggled to get out of their own 22 at times. And a penalty, they've walked it around. The Tasmanian scrum's caused you a couple of problems today. You weren't as dominant as you were on Friday night.
Yeah, we're going through a bit of a reshuffle in the forwards here. Our front row certainly was very appreciative of all the raps they got on the stream.
Well, they played
on
very
Friday
well.
night.
It's exactly what we're here for.
They were devastated they didn't get the team list in on time.
Well, in fairness, that was my fault. You did, I just didn't check my email. But we had a lot of help from the Northern Territory faithful who were watching on Facebook to give us some names.
Yeah, people tune in all the time, so shout out to all the NT supporters for tuning in. Thanks very much. We get all your comments.
And there are a load of Tassie people watching as well today. So they will go again. Satala.
That's Reese Mulholland with the ball there.
So Mulholland will shake out of the first one. He goes one-on-one. Has a Abele outside him. Abele will go. He will put the foot down and he will score again. Second or third of the day, I think. But dangerous runner. And if you leave him one-on-one, I mean, you leave him 1-on-15, he's going to cause you problems. But one-on-one, he's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, he's a human bowling ball. He just can charge anyone out of his way. Reese Mulholland with the longer hair there, he's joined the team from Nhulunbuy up in Gove in the northern eastern part of NT. And he plays for the South Rugby Club, which is a Bele's club, and a few of the other boys here. So you can see their combinations there.
So as far as this Northern Territory side, how many clubs are represented out there?
There's 6 in the Darwin competition, and there's there's people from every club there, and there's 2 players from Alice Springs, and yeah, so I guess we've got 8 clubs in total.
It's a notoriously difficult journey, Adelaide to Darwin. Did you have to go through somewhere, or direct flight? Or?
No, we got direct flights, so it wasn't too bad. It's about a 3.5-hour flight. Everything went pretty seamlessly. Oh, a special mention to Tahu, who missed his flight from Brisbane.
There's always one, isn't there?
He copped a bit of a spray in the fines night.
I'm sure you won't mind me saying there's a little salt and pepper going on the top, and that's working as a manager for a state rep side. It's people missing flight and things like that. I had a full head of hair before I started doing state management.
Yeah. Oh, the boys have been good. No, nothing too major.
So again, they will look to go, and almost got his hands free for the offload. So Tyler again will shake out of the first tackle. Manages to get his legs going and get over the 10-metre line. He's going to come back for Northern Territory. Oh, man and ball. Forward pass, and he got punished.
Barksy hit hard there.
I think that's Lean, the number 7 for the Tasmania side, and that was man and ball at the same time. I think we'll see that over and over again, I think there will be a couple of the Northern Territory boys who will remind him about that one.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't have much time to react with the ball there.
No, Anthony Lean, who is the captain of the Tasmania side, and I think he's the coach as well.
Yeah, I believe both their coach and their manager are out on the field there for Tassie, so good on them.
And that is the manager, Holman. And I think the two of them really shone on Friday night for Tasmania. Another big contact. Oh, no, did well to roll away from it.
Robbie Butcher smelled an intercept there.
Everyone loves an intercept just a little bit high. Did well to bring that one out of the air. Odell Beckham-like. Lean again, has a gap. Got his hands free.
Great offload.
Thought he was going to get away, not held. I was a little bit worried there about the number 5 from the Northern Territory.
Turnover
Farkalofa.
there to Josh Phillips, one of the twin brothers playing for the Mosquitoes at the moment. The other one's Zach Phillips, who's off, but he started in the fly half. So
are you looking towards the South Australia game now? Obviously, you were around for their game this morning and saw that the points that they put on.
yeah, I think like South Australia would probably thank the Northern Territory what they did to Victoria and really, really tired them out. I think it was. No, only joking, but yeah,
I think there's a fair amount of truth to that. They looked spent early on. It's a big amount of rugby. 3 games in 4 days.
Yeah,
fair amount of rugby, and
poor old Vic Country is playing with about a 3-man bench, I think. So it makes things so much harder.
Into midfield to Satala, who offloads to Paseka. Options left and right again. They'll come right. Mulholland to Satala, who'll stop, beat the first tackle, but can't get away. Paseka again.
Great line speed from Tasmania there. Oh,
they've shown that they can play, and again, I think it's partly just the difficulty in getting the best rep squad you can to travel.
Yeah, I heard their player levies was quite high, which also adds another element to it. Certainly up in the Territory, that comes into factor.
So what's your timing on the tackle, yeah?
See how this line out goes. I'd like to have a chat about you about conditions and what it's like playing in the tropical north, but we'll let this line out go. Snowden will put the ball in. They will look for the driving maul. Held a little bit, and then they're going to have to try and get it going. Messy, and they have stolen it. Now they've got a little bit of space. They've got a 2-on-1. Can they use it? He doesn't want it. He's just going to go. Ballet shows that not only can he run, he can tackle. A little bit slow to get up. They were all offside. They're going to play the advantage. And then they come back for it. The number 11 down here, they're auditioning for a part as an assistant referee.
Yeah, Mozzie's penalised for not rolling away in the ruck there.
And he was quite right, they were all offside, and I think as a member of the coaching staff, you'd want to see him moving a little bit quicker on the turnover.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the one criticism, it's not a criticism, my one concern about Ballet is I don't think I've seen him get through a full game when we watched him in South Australia. He seems to get injured a fair amount. Whether he's injured or just wants a rest, I don't know, but that's my one concern about him. I think if he manages to stay fit through entire games, he really can have an impact on it.
Yeah, he played the first game off the bench and did well when he came on. He's got a lot of game time this one.
I'd like to see a full 80 minutes from him. So Tasmania will
certainly
go off the top.
Sorry, crowd pleaser.
Just couldn't bring it in, unfortunately.
Handling area there.
Big number 12, Anatalea Laufi. How is it playing in Adelaide? Such a dry state after playing in the Northern Territory, 8 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's really cold. I was a bit worried about the game on Friday night, just how cold it is. You know, when we're playing in Darwin, it would be 7 o'clock at night and still 26 degrees and humid. I think playing down here is really good for us because you can run all day. The heat plays like a deciding factor in the speed of the game up in Darwin. They have a sevens tournament in November in the hottest, January in the hottest part of the year, and yeah, it's absolutely brutal to try and run around in that heat.
Sevens is a challenge wherever you are in the world, but let alone there. Again, they will turn them around. He's going to look to counter-attack.
Solid contact there from Drew Tobin.
Well, the knock-on first came from the Northern Territory.
So their scrum. Oh, yeah. Do they have the option of the line? Knock on into touch? Yeah.
I think it was knocked on into touch. It's going to be option, and they're going to take the line
Yeah,
up.
we've got line out.
So number 23, who's come on from the Mosquitoes. Drew Tobin, he sometimes sings the national anthem before they have an Anzac test,
Oh,
where they pit all the New Zealanders versus the Aussies there, and so they started calling him Drew Sheeran.
Satala will make another couple of yards. Messi, and they'll get the penalty. We were talking through the South Australian game about how, with all respect to Tasmania, they are the weaker opposition, and obviously at 56 points to 5 at the start of the second half, the tendency could be that everyone would get white line fever and the structure of the game goes away. Is that something that you would have worked on and spoke about at half time?
Yeah,
just
definitely.
keeping that almost. We talked about a captain's run feel to the game.
Yeah, just reflecting back on Friday's game versus Vic Country, we had a strong lead at half-time and then sort of dropped the ball and stepped away from the game plan. So certainly that's in the back of everyone's minds. We're doing a lot of reflection every day.
Pulled out the back to a ballet who didn't go with it.
Yeah, even in the start of the first half, we put on a couple of quick tries and I think everyone just relaxed a bit too much.
Well, it's worked out quite well. It's a little bit strong, but it worked out well. Seeing a lot of pace from the Northern Territory side, but no competition, so they're not straight.
The quick line out there, they were using a call which is a bit of a reference to Benjamin Parks, he's into car driving as well. So he's people call him Paul Walker up north. It's probably the only player who was prepared for the cold. He had to fly in from Orange, where he moved there after the season this year. So for him it's warm at the moment.
First one.
First knock on by the Northern Territory. It's nice to see that you've thought about the halfbacks, and the halfback's got a shirt that fits. Ryan McMurray.
Ryan.
Did a good job there. Normally the halfbacks are swimming in a state rep side.
Yeah, he's what you would expect for a size of a halfback. All the boys, yeah, give him a fair bit of stick for being a halfback.
Well, most of the shirts look tight. He seems to have a little bit more room in it than anybody else.
Yeah.
Northern Territory scum. Again, solid. Oh. Got a hand to it, but it's going to come back. Inside ball to a ballet, and a ballet will go forward. Oh, threw a leg out. Got away with it. Big number 14 for Tassie will go again, and now they will look to break away. Nobody there with him, so he'll just put it on the boot and turn the Northern Territory around. Mulholland with Akers in front of him, then he will step back inside. Tried to run him through a gap that very quickly wasn't a gap anymore.
It's old Eric Erickson with the charge.
Northern Territory's control of the tempo of the game has been impressive, both Friday night and today. You go quick when you want to, and you're capable of slowing it down. And I think one of the big things, I spoke to your coach on Friday night, you've had 8 weeks since the end of your season.
Yeah.
Nice little break, and gets the 2-on-1.
Pass misses the mark.
I will let you into a little secret. All of my co-commentators have to say Coach Keller at least once during a game.
Oh,
but that
okay.
2-on-1s and
Yeah,
not finding hands.
Butcher will be devastated with that one. Player of that calibre, yeah, he won't be happy with that. I think in terms of controlling the game, we've got a lot of experienced heads in the team. A lot of the players have been playing together for 10 plus years, so that always helps.
So Tassie had the option because it was knocked on into touch, and they've taken the scrum, which they're probably more dominant as a set piece goes. They're probably more dominant in the scrum than they are in the line-out, so it's not a bad decision.
They do have a big pack. Let's see if the Territory Mosquitoes front row can live up to the challenge here.
Do we have any news on the injury, actually, of your number 12? Because he looked like he was going to cause some problems, Vinnie Main.
Yeah, it's a compression injury on his back. We're hoping it's just muscle, and fingers crossed it's not the end of his tournament. He only flew in yesterday. He missed the first game due to work commitments. He's a aquaculturalist, so one of the more interesting jobs in the Mosquitoes team. Eric Erickson, number 1, is a forklift driver and part-time physio also.
Crouch. 5. Set.
So the wing had started on the blind side, but now he's moving late.
Stay on.
Good control at the back.
Play advantage.
Satala, short ball. Can he get his arms free and get it out? No, but his support will be there. And he does manage to get it away. And Abele will stop, then go. Decides to come back in to try and find a little bit of space. Makes his way to the 22.
No.
All sorts of numbers out here, then an inside ball.
Oh, Parksy's down.
Another big hit in the back, and then they will go out to this near side. Flirting with the touchline, but came back inside. Flirted a little bit too much.
Yeah, Tahu taking his touch there. Was a good run and good play. Unselfish pass there from Wise. He copped a fair whack in the back there. So really unselfish from here.
But there is a danger here because the Northern Territory line-out has been big and strong today. Tasmania do well on that one. Kind of pops out the back and under huge amounts of pressure, and that's a penalty for a high one.
Yeah.
That's a real let-off for Tassie there.
There's a huge let-off for them.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Because they were under all sorts of pressure and really should have ended up as a Northern Territory scrum 5 metres out. Just enough movement from the Tasmanian side to prevent Northern Territory competing too much. That time they didn't get it. May have come forward off a Northern Territory hand.
Yeah, missed by the ref there. Carini Murphy there with a strong tackle.
Could be a turnover. Scrappy, a couple of scrappy breakdowns for Tasmania. Inside ball to Lean, 3 Mosquitoes. Inside ball again, man and ball. Big tough Tasmania, wasn't bothered by it though. It's taking this inch by inch at the moment, Tasmania. Loper will make another couple of yards. There's questions from Tasmania. They're hoping for a yellow card and a little bit of an advantage for the next 10 minutes, but
Yeah,
don't think there's any coming.
it was an extremely cheeky piece of play there from
Yeah, no, you're right.
the very experienced Wise Sakatoga, referred to by his fans as Denzel after the famous actor. He claims that he shares a likeness to.
Which one?
Big Wisey with the headband. Yeah.
He thinks he looks like Denzel.
Yeah.
Has anyone told him
Don't-
otherwise?
Don't you? Come on, Denzel.
I'm gonna have to have a look. No, no. But I certainly wouldn't argue with him.
He's a very friendly guy.
I'll tell him he doesn't look like Denzel from here. Face to face, I'd probably agree with him. We're just going to have a little bit of a wait. There is a Tasmanian player down.
Getting treatment.
That is Blair Webber. A couple of the Tasmanians are a little bit proppy. Again, it's the long weekend. And certainly they had a very physical game on Friday night.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of them after the game, and they said they were really happy with their defence, just through the middle anyway, and they were just getting found out around the outside.
It's a Tasmanian lineup. Over the backboard, they nearly sorted it out.
A little bit of Harlem Globetrotters.
I know,
from
I like it.
Tassie.
I don't mind it. It could have worked.
Should have went through the legs, not over the top.
I would have liked to see that go to hand. So it'll be a Tasmanian scrum, 15 metres in, 10 metres inside their own half. It is an interesting one. I know how this winger feels because his winger has gone over onto the open side, but you can't go.
Yes, a dominant scrum.
That is going forward.
Do you want to give the front row another rap?
The entire front row for the Northern Territory has been very impressive over this weekend. Hopefully we'll go and get to meet them in person today.
Sus, find some space there.
It's one of the things that Satala is very, very good at is finding space, and the ball generally comes back the right way.
He
Little
is
half
extremely
gap, and then he
elusive.
will find Denzel. He is away, he's one-on-one, has support inside, gives it. And the Northern Territory, they've been a while between drinks for the last try. But finally they get one. So Ryan McMurray will go over in the underneath, and
Great try.
Denzel using his teammates well.
Yeah, there was everyone just finding themselves in space there, and just to confirm for the stream viewers there, that is a regular size football. It's just being held by the NT halfback there.
So I want to see you clearly have that ball, but also I want you to have that delay. I think we spoke about it on Friday as well. If you're standing there holding the ball looking back.
So 61 points to 5. I think, I'm not entirely sure the stadium clock is right, but we can't be too far away from full time, I don't think.
So how many teams are in the South Australian?
So we have
column?
2 divisions, as
Yep.
that one is popped over for the extra. So we have 2 divisions. Our Premier Grade has 6 teams in it.
Yep.
And then we have a Division 1 with 4 teams in it. We have promotion and relegation, but Woodville came up into the Premier Grade this year and Port Adelaide went down.
Also, the clubs don't play in both grades. Is that?
There's 2 divisions with 2 grades. So there's
Okay.
Premier Grade and Premier Grade Reserves, and Division 1 and Division 1 Reserves.
Yep.
And then there's a couple of 3rd grade teams knocking around.
Oh, okay.
Some of the bigger clubs. It's led to more competitive rugby. So it's essentially where you would split a 10-team league.
Yep.
18 hole.
So that one will just be sent away. Just allows more competitive rugby for the Division 1 sides more often.
Yep. Oh, that's good.
But that was an experiment which was due to last 2 years. It's gone through its 2 years. It'll be reviewed as to whether the club's happy with it or whether they want to change to a different system, or
Yeah, good to see him trying things.
Play on, fair contest.
stolen again. Turned defence into attack very, very quickly. Just didn't quite beat the clean up. Flat ball to Satala, quick hands. Stood up the outside player, but he's turned something into nothing.
Yeah, that was Watson with a great run there. Plays like a rock star.
It was very impressive on another big hit in midfield from Lean.
Leave it. Leave it. Thanks, mate.
I think there might be a few clubs on both sides of the Victorian South Australia border as Abele will show, and he will go and he will fight his way forward and score. And if he didn't have a hat trick before, he does now.
Yeah. It was a 4-on-1 almost, and he never looked like not scoring from there.
I think that would be, and one of the things we talked about was the exposure that this competition would give these players, and I think I'm not sure of Mr. Lean's age, but there's certainly a possibility that he could go and play at a higher level.
Yeah, I think Abele might have been brought to Darwin by his cousin Setafano Thakau, who's like a former captain of the Fiji Sevens team playing up there.
He actually came down to Brighton as well and brought Abele and Smoking Joe with him.
Oh, yeah.
So the three of them came down and qualified for finals, and all three of them walked away with a winner's medal. So 2 winners' medals in a year, that's not a bad go.
Yeah, it's no surprise that success seems to follow them around.
Flags will go up. 70 points to 5. Certainly a better second half by Tasmania.
Yeah, it's a tough one playing in a rep game when it's a blowout. They can hold their heads up high though.
Yep, easy.
Driven deep again. And I was going to say one of the impressive things about Watson on Friday night. In the first half he was on the left wing, so on camera side, and on the second half he appeared to swap over to the right wing to remain camera side. So very smart play from that young man.
That's just part of his rock star lifestyle, staying on camera as much as possible, I think.
Satala does come back again, and he's managed to shake a gap, has options left and right. One of them is Denzel. Has he got the pace to get there? Yes, he does. And another try to the Northern Territory.
Great try there. Robbie Butcher, the Butcher, carving up the defensive line. I think one of the strengths of the NT team is a lot of the players there are just extremely versatile. Like the wingers obviously can play, both wings and fullback. We've got players like Drew Sheeran, who's in the first game he started at 12 and slotted into halfback. Now he's playing on the flank to just combat some injury issues that they've had. So the team's just chock full of players like that.
How big was the squad that you brought down in the end?
We had 23 that we brought down, and we've picked up Chris and Sus from Adelaide. Oh, and Abele was already down here.
So there's 3 that you can rest. So there's 3 that will miss out tomorrow.
2
will miss out tomorrow.
We've got a couple of injuries. 2 guys sitting out today. That we've got a hammy and a calf that we're working on to try and get them back on the field, but see how we go.
Butcher will pull that one away. So 75 points to 5, and I think when I looked, we're close to being at the end of this one. So it sets us up for an interesting competition tomorrow. I mean, both the favourites, as they would be now, and South Australia and Northern Territory have had big wins today and probably got through it mostly unscathed.
Yeah. Did SA have any injuries in their game?
No injuries in their game, and
yeah.
Certainly competitions for starting 15 spots for both sides now.
Yeah.
Oh, Butler gets man and ball. And the ballet will take him on, and probably one of the better tackles we've seen on a ballet. I think Weyer has just decided that he just wants to start inflicting a little bit of damage.
No, ball's available, use it.
Had the Rhino call. I think we're probably going to see another pick and drive, and there it is. Happy to just clear the lines. And cleared them very, very well.
Nice kick there from Butcher. He's a great kicker of the ball, striker of the ball. He's been playing for a long time up in Darwin, had a very successful career with the University Pirates.
So was there an injury issue with Phillips to bring him off so early, or?
Not that I'm aware of.
One roll.
Not rolling away. Tasmania penalty. I think they
Heaps. I like that.
are going to go and look for the lineup.
It's going to be a big ask for both teams. 3 games in 4 days.
Well, South Australia have been lucky enough that they, obviously being the host state, they've had a squad of 29.
Oh, okay.
We had a squad of 30.
Yep.
They have a squad of 29. They made 14 changes to the starting 15
Yep.
today. So you would think they would be almost cherry ripe. Butcher again off the outside of the foot, the old banana kick. Puts him under a little bit of pressure. Nice little dummy kick, but then has it just stolen away. It's not forward from a rip. How's the bounce? There's the try.
That's Todd McManus from the Darwin Dragons. That's his first game in the run-on team for the Mosquitoes. Young 18-year-old guy, so what a debut for the. He's going to be so wrapped.
So 80 points to 5. One of the more interesting try celebrations I've ever seen.
What was it?
They're just lining up and shaking hands. It's almost like the game was over. I don't know whether they've been told that's it or. Interesting. Don't mind it.
Might have come from the captain to get around the young fella.
Get around, but yeah, they lined up and all shook each other's hand. And didn't mind it. It was like the end of the game.
Yeah, the captain, Harini, or Honey Bill, as the boys call him, he runs a tight ship, so if he tells them to, line up for a high five, they'll do that. Yeah, they're setting up for a kickoff, so
Well, he might still be going.
it must have been a call, get around him.
Who is the most organised get around him I've ever seen in my life? It's probably the politest try celebration ever. And that one he pushes. So we are still going. Not entirely sure the Tasmanians would like that, but we are still going. Can't be too much longer left. I think our clock has expired. Stadium clock has expired. The only one that's still going is the referee's watch.
It's the one that matters.
It's not a bad kickoff.
Oh, great
And
take.
a great take by Holman. Can they finish with a bang? Let's see the old dive pass again. Not this time.
Tackled there by Tane Farlonga, whose partner actually had a kid like 4 hours before our flight left and somehow managed to talk his way onto tour.
Wow, that is impressive. And there we have it, full time. So Northern Territory winning that one 80 points to 5. We will have to jump out, and we will speak to you again tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, from me and Greg Tobin. Thank you very much for joining us, and we are set up for an absolute stormer tomorrow between the South Australian Black Falcons and the Northern Territory Mosquitoes. So from me and Greg and the crew at Spacequake Sports, good afternoon.